Hello Tesla people, Andy's here and you're watching InfoTek channel. On this channel, I have a blog dedicated specifically to Tesla vehicles. I've owned multiple Teslas and I've been driving Tesla vehicles for more than 8 years, in which I accumulated tons of experience in how to maintain electric vehicles, how and where you can charge it, what would be the cost of charging in different scenarios, cost of ownership, and so on. In the most recent months, I noticed a huge influx and traction on posts dedicated to electric vehicles and specifically Tesla, and I noticed that a lot of them are actually false. I responded to one of these posts. It was a Tesla group on Facebook, and I kid you not, I received hundreds of responses. And reading these comments, I realized how little people actually know about Tesla vehicles or electric vehicles in general. So I decided to give you 5 facts, 5 common statements about Tesla vehicles, and tell you which one of these statements is true and which ones are false. So if you own a Tesla vehicle or you're planning to get one, listen and watch this video to the end. You'll get a lot of useful information and you'll get your straight answers. Alrighty, statement number 1. Tesla saves you money on gas. Meaning purchasing electricity is gonna save you money compared to purchasing gasoline for your so-called ICE car. Well, it's true and false at the same time. The correct answer here is it depends. It depends on a use case and what you compare your electric vehicle to. Let me explain. Here's an ideal use case for electric car owner. Let's say you live in a single family home, you have your own driveway or garage, and you have a charging station in your home. And you can charge your car on schedule. Specifically, you schedule it to be charged at nighttime where electricity costs are lowest. Here's one of my Teslas. It's a Model 3 long range dual motor, so I owned it for more than 5 years. And if I go to stats in my vehicle and pull up the last 31 days, like last month of usage, I've been charging it only at home, only at nighttime, where I can get best price possible. And my driving range daily is average or even slightly below average because I have multiple vehicles. So we'll review this use case. As you can see on the screen, I spent $38 on charging my Model 3 long range at home. I put on average 1,000 miles on this car monthly. I don't want to bother you with tons of details about how much each kilowatt hour costs and when you charge your vehicle at what time, but you can see on average you will spend about $40 to $50 a month charging your Tesla sedan. While through simple calculations, you know that pretty much same distance and same usage for gasoline type of car is gonna cost you about $160, $180 per month. Here you can see clear advantage. You save 4 times. You spend 4 times less money charging your Tesla vehicle compared to a similar size sedan if it's gasoline or ICE type of car. $40 per month versus $160 per month. But again, it depends on what you compare it to. Let's say you drove G-Wagon Mercedes before, which goes only 10 miles per gallon. Then you will see even bigger difference between charging electric car and how much you spend on gasoline for this Mercedes. But if you compare it to, let's say, Toyota Prius, you will not see that much of a difference. It will be pretty close because Toyota Prius gives you 65 miles per gallon. And if you take into consideration the initial cost difference between new Tesla vehicle and Toyota Prius, and you take into consideration newly introduced highway fee and some other hidden fees that are applied to strictly electric vehicles, you will see that actually you're not saving anything. Now, let's take it one step further. What if you're not always charging at home? What if you frequently go on long trips and you are forced to use superchargers or maybe other like charge point, charging stations? Now it's going to be a different use case. Let's say you are going on a trip of 700 miles. You've got to know that you will have to make at least at least 5 stops at supercharger. And each stop is gonna take you 25 minutes long, right? And costs are gonna vary depending on the state and charging station and how fast your charging station is in this particular location. But be ready to spend between 12 and 15 bucks every time you charge your car. That would push you at $60 or more to complete this trip using superchargers that belong to Tesla. Now your costs are way higher compared to charging at home. Superchargers are expensive. Now, if you take a similar trip of 700 miles in a Honda Accord or Toyota Camry, Toyota Corolla, something like very common, you will see that difference in your costs is not going to be that much anymore. You will spend probably 75 to 80 bucks to cover this 700 miles on a gasoline type of car. So you see $60 for charging Tesla and covering that distance versus $75 going in Toyota Camry for that same distance. Not really makes big difference. So if you are planning to buy an electric car solely to save money, I have bad news, unfortunately. All right, you're not gonna save much. And again, if you take into consideration some other facts, for example, registration renewal for electric vehicle is always going to be higher than gasoline type of vehicle because they use these hidden fees, including a highway fee, where basically that highway fee is going to be like 90% of the entire bill for your registration. It's huge. To recap, electric vehicle will be cheaper and more efficient if you charge it at home only and you compare it to a bigger gasoline engine car like V8 or more cylinders engine. But if you are on a trip and you have to use superchargers, Toyota Prius will beat you in efficiency. Statement number 2, expected range of your battery is actually what you will get when you drive in real life. Expected range has nothing to do with how far you will actually go in real life. For example, your car battery shows 100% full, and it actually shows you that you can go 300 miles on this one charge. However, in real life, there is such a thing as expected range and operational range of your electric vehicle. Let me explain. On paper, your Tesla says that on one charge you can go 300 miles. However, in real life, you never discharge your battery to zero, and you almost never charge it up to 100% because it's not recommended. So you always have to leave at least 15% on one side before it's completely discharged and 15% on the right side when you charge it. It's not recommended to charge your battery to 100%. So it leaves you a smaller operational range. And if your car says it can go 300 miles on one charge, on paper, technically you can easily exclude 30%, right? 15 and 15. So what's left is only 70% of your battery capacity you'll be using on regular drives. It's between one charge and next charge. Now get this, expected range, that was what you see on paper in your technical passport for the car, is only valid when it's under laboratory-like conditions, under ideal conditions, right? Meaning temperatures outside of your car, inside your car, how fast you go, the speed with which you go, whether or not you use headlights or high beam or low beam, whether or not you use heated seats, ventilated seats, aggressively air conditioner, heater, and so on. So all these things will affect the actual range that you can go on one charge in your electric vehicle. Now let's calculate. You have 300 miles to go on one charge. That's the range of your vehicle. But you technically go only 240, 250 because you don't want to completely discharge your battery and you never charge it up to 100%. So in most cases, you will be using 250 to 140 miles instead of 300. From these 240 miles, you will lose another 40 or maybe even 60, depending on how hot it is outside and how much you use air conditioner, or how cold it is, right? If it's not ideal, like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, right? If it's below 50 or it's above 65 degrees Fahrenheit, your car will start using internal features to cool or heat the actual battery, the salon of your car, and so on. Then if you use headlights, if you use high beam, if you use ventilated seats, if you go faster than 60 miles per hour, for example, it will significantly degrade the range you can cover in miles on your trip. Now, if you go fast, about 80 or 85 miles per hour, and you use heating or you use cooling and you use headlights, etc., you will have operational range of only 180 miles. That is why I never recommend buying short range battery Teslas. Always buy dual motor long range, because even long range actually leaves you with only 180 miles to go from one supercharger to another supercharger. If you have initially short range battery Tesla, it will shrink to like 120 miles. So technically you start driving, in every 120 miles you have to stop for another charge. Statement number 3. Tesla vehicles are getting very, very cheap and very affordable as of end of 2023, beginning of 2024. That's unfortunately also a false statement. You see, although Tesla in general is striving to make their cars more and more affordable, and they work on it, sooner or later they will introduce this Tesla Model 2, for example, that is going to be around 25K. But again, no one knows. It will happen in 2024, 2025, it's hard to say. Also, most likely it will lack features that make Tesla a Tesla. That's why it will be more affordable. But do you want to buy a Tesla that doesn't have Tesla features? Like very high performance, handling, high top speed, high 0 to 60, and also software features that are very expensive, right? These cheap models will not have the software features like full self-drive or summon or advanced autopilot, etc. So you'll buy a cheap car that has Tesla logo on its body, but it lacks all the features and capabilities of an actual Tesla vehicle. Thus, right now, Tesla is nowhere near being affordable, although they will keep trying, right? But as of now, I see tons of posts like this on social media platforms. It says something like, you can buy a new Model Y Tesla for 29K. This is unfortunately a marketing trick strategy. You've got to read carefully all these smaller fonts where it says this price of 29.5K excludes 7,500 federal tax return money, and it also excludes $6,000 expected savings on gas. But I just explained you that it depends on what you compare it to. If before your electric vehicle you drove huge SUV with big gasoline engine, yeah, you will see improvement. It will be cheaper to charge your electric car. But if you compare it to a hybrid vehicle, you will not necessarily see improvement or more efficiency in owning an electric vehicle. So $6,000 in gas savings is a BS. We can add it back to the cost of the vehicle, which makes it 36,000 instantly. Now back to 7.5K in federal tax return. It's not actual money that you will get. People try to understand it. It's a credit in your tax return. So if you don't pay taxes to federal government, you don't see this money, but it will be applied as a credit. So eventually, if you owe any money to IRS, it will be applied towards that credit, right? And even though you pay, you have highly paid job, right? You pay a lot in taxes. Then even in this case, you will not get 7,500 in one piece. They will most likely give you about 50% after the first year when you file taxes, 50% of that 7.5K. And second 50% you will get in 2 years. So it comes as a form of a credit when you pay taxes. So you need to pay tax. Actually, the taxes were supposed to be deducted from your W-2 form at work. Only in this case it works. So that's why they say not everybody qualifies for this 7.5K tax return money. And you will see this money in full only in 2 years. Try to get this straight. you need to add the 7.5K back to the cost of the vehicle when at the time of purchasing you will pay all this money. It's just eventually in 2 years you may get it back as a credit through your IRS tax return submission. And now you can see that your cheapest, absolutely cheapest Tesla Model Y comes instantly back to $43,000. So you are taking now cheapest trim Tesla Model Y. I mean, everything is absolute basic, like smallest and cheapest rims and wheels, cheapest interior, no ability to pick a color of this vehicle. It's going to be very slow compared to all other Teslas, like 2 times slower, right? Top speed is bad. It's going to be rear drive, only one motor, short range battery that I mentioned before. Software will lack all the cool features that Tesla actually offers. Like you will not have advanced autopilot, you will not have full self-drive, you will not have summon feature, you will not have self-parking, etc. Right? So it's like very, very cheap and basic model with everything absolutely cheapest. You still need to pay $43,000 for this Model Y. On top of that, you will also need to pay delivery fee, which is like 1,300, if I'm not mistaken, correct me in the comments, like something like that. Then it could be some kind of dealership fee from 500 to 1,000. Then transaction fee, like they have a couple of hidden fees that you will see when you come to actual Tesla dealership. All that will make your cheapest Model Y cost about $47,000, $48,000. And you can now add, so you will end up what, paying above 50,000, like 51, 52, or 53K. That's how affordable cheapest Model Y is. And you don't even want this cheapest model, as I explained before, right? So you want at least dual motor long range. And for that, you expect to pay 56, maybe even slightly above $56,000. Statement about Teslas number 4. The entire social media space actually advertises a new feature that Tesla just introduced in the beginning of 2024, which is you can add only $2,000 on top of a purchasing price and make your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y to be a liquid silver color or liquid gold or platinum. That's a false. So if you go directly to tesla.com website and try to purchase Model 3 or Model Y, you will see very basic regular colors available as it's been for a couple of years now. So when you order a new vehicle from tesla.com, you cannot order for any money, liquid silver, gold, platinum, whatever color. You simply can't. So all these social media posts are clickbaits, all right? Just to heat up debates and get people to like click on that post and go to comments and likes, dislikes, and so on. Anything promotes this kind of post anyways. However, you've got to know that when you already purchased, when you already placed an order or you already have a Tesla vehicle and you go to your page on your cell phone in Tesla application and click on accessories, as you can see on the screen, you can actually find additional colors in accessories. That means they will most likely put some kind of film on top of existing color on the body of your car. And they have some cool colors, including matte colors. But again, even in those, you will not see liquid gold, platinum, or liquid silver. Although you can get a cool color, unusual color, and of course it's not going to be $2,000. It's going to be close to $6,000. I believe it's $5,700, as you can see on the screen. And final statement number 5, Tesla makes awesome cars. That's a true fact. And I've got to tell you what, after driving many Teslas through the past 8 or 9 years, I finally decided to maybe switch back to gasoline type of engine car, or try something luxury, but other than Tesla. And I went to multiple dealerships. Mercedes, Audi, Maserati, Lexus, Genesis, and so on. And I've been trying to convince myself that there is something on par with Tesla, right? Or maybe even better that I can consider to switch from Tesla to another brand. Man, after driving Teslas for so long, you can't even imagine how mediocre all these other cars feel at Mercedes, Audi, Maserati dealerships. The only brand and model that actually impressed me and surprised me was Genesis GV70 car. So the handling, all right, and the vehicle being agile and fast and efficient at the same time, and very cool looking and having cool features, that was very, very unexpected. On top of everything, Genesis GV70 had the self-park and summon option, except you can move it not from your cell phone, but from the actual key fob. This car was even able to park with you standing outside of the car. You could move or do self-parking being outside of the vehicle, which was super cool and unexpected for Genesis brand. For people who doesn't know, Genesis is a luxury brand, is a luxury branch of Hyundai. In the end, after trying 12 luxury vehicles, all very high-end and expensive ones, I realized that there is nothing really that even comes close to Tesla in performance, in efficiency, in metrics altogether, such as top speed or 0 to 60 figures, handling, and overall coolness of the car, if you know what I'm talking about. Thus, after driving Mercedes and Maserati high-end SUVs, I come back to Tesla dealer and take Tesla Model Y Performance, and I was absolutely blown away. The Tesla car was so much better, it was not even funny. And Tesla was actually way cheaper than compatible Mercedes SUV, it was way cheaper than Maserati, and it was even cheaper than Genesis GV70. And one more time I realized that Tesla beats competition hands down. There is literally nothing better in its class than Tesla Model Y, especially when you talk about full package, the performance trim. That would be it for today. Again, everything I said is based on years and years of experience and on testing and comparing my Tesla cars to everything else around, because I'm a big car enthusiast. But again, this is my experience. If you had a different one, please share it in the comments. Let's have discussion, let's give more pointers and suggestions to people who own Teslas, or especially people who want to buy one. They need to get information from real Tesla owners and disregard what they see on paper at the Tesla dealership. And especially disregard what they see on social media posts. Thank you for being with me. I'm Andy, and that was InfoTek channel. And until next video, God bless and take care.